everybody, my name is Biggles and I'm coming to you with another Apple TV video. Now, I apologize for the sound. I am out of town and I am recording on my headset. Apple TV has made a great improvement, and I think it might have just been because they do have Wayne Randazzo on the broadcast today. Katie Nolan is no longer the main person they had announcing the game, which I think is great. If you remember last video, I really liked Katie Nolan's voice, but it sounded like she didn't really care to be at the baseball game. Now, they had Wayne Randazzo, Hunter Pence, and Katie Nolan on this broadcast, instead of Katie Nolan, Chris Young, who was awful, and some chick from Yahoo Sports that no one gives a shit about. The visuals last time were really good in the first one, but they made great improvements by getting a good broadcaster. Now, I don't know if Wayne Randazzo does other Apple games or if they just had him because it was a Met game. Now, Wayne Randazzo is one of the Mets radio announcers. He works with Howie Rose, and it's amazing how much better Apple TV is when they get someone who actually loves the game of baseball. When you watch, you can tell that Katie liked baseball, but she had no idea what she was doing as a play-by-play. Or at least that's what it seemed like in the first one. Now she's just thirsting over Pete Alonso. That was really funny. They showed Pete in the batter's box for a second, and he squatted down. He's like, "Ooh, Pete," or "Oh, Pete," something like that. And Wayne was like, "Oh, what happened?" And she's like, "Oh, he's just doing squats, like thirsting on Pete Alonso." He's married, by the way, Katie. Haley's a very nice lady. They did not miss a play. The first time they did it, they were showing themselves. They were showing highlights. There was one highlight where they showed. I don't like how they have the highlights on the main thing and then they put the screen really small. They did do one where it was like a side by side where they were talking to like Buck Showalter or the manager of the Angels, and then they showed the play. That's kind of better because what you want to see is the game. The highlights of a different game, you don't give a shit during the play. So I still think they need to work on that. But when they did that two side by side and they were like the same size, it was a lot better because you got to see the game rather than having them put it in the top right corner and nothing to see. So they have improved so much just by changing who the broadcast team is, and I think it's much better. Now, I was really hard on them the last time because it was just awful. It was so bad. Oh, they were talking about Fogo de Chao for Escobar for like a whole inning without even mentioning the game. And Wayne Randazzo, now on the Mets booth with Howie Rose, they bring up Fogo de Chao every now and then because of Katie's broadcast on the first Apple TV, where they just talked about it nonstop. Now, Wayne likes to be funny on the broadcast, and he does a pretty good job. And he goes, Katie, did you know he really likes Fogo de Chao? And they only brought it up one other time. And the reason why they brought it up is because Wayne likes to bring it up now because of that Apple TV first broadcast. And it wasn't talking about the whole inning. He's making jokes. He's having fun with his cast. And you could tell Hunter Pence, like former baseball player, right? Former World Series champion, really loves the game of baseball. And he brought so much more than Chris Young did. With Hunter Pence in here, it was so much better. He was excited about talking about the game. He knew what he was talking about. He said Brandon Nimmo's name wrong a bunch of times, and that made me cry. But Wayne Randazzo, every time right after, he would be like Nimmo instead of Nemo. Overall, it was a much better broadcast. If you were to take the first one, I would call the first one maybe a 4 out of 10 because the visuals were good. I ignored the little stats in the bottom, but it did look like they weren't as awful as the first one. And then if you were to compare this broadcast in a score, I'd probably say this was like a 7 out of 10. That's a huge improvement from what it was. And hopefully they get someone like Wayne for all the other games, because I know there was a second game on Apple TV and I didn't watch that, so I can't tell you if it was a good broadcast or not. They probably had Chris Young on that broadcast. They probably had that Yahoo Sports girl on that broadcast, so it was probably trash. All right, thank you everybody. I'll see you in the next video, and have a good one.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and even follow my Twitch.